The kitchen clock reads 6 in the morning when I pull the last tray of spanakopita from the oven. Steam rises, carrying that buttery scent I've perfected over 30 years. My knuckles throb as I set the pan down, but I don't mind. Emma graduates college in 3 days, and everything needs to be perfect. I've been awake since 4. The phyllo dough doesn't wait for anyone, and neither does love. 3 months ago, I booked the venue, a garden terrace overlooking the river, the kind of place Emma used to point at when she was small and say it looked like a fairy tale. I put down $2,000 that day. The caterer required another $1,500. Then came the flowers, the linens, the photographer I found through a friend who owed me a favor. I made spreadsheets. I color-coded timelines. I sewed Emma's dress myself because she mentioned once, years ago, that she loved vintage lace. $8,000 so far. But when I picture her face, the way she'll light up when she walks in, it feels like nothing. I'm arranging bruschetta on a serving platter when I hear the car in the driveway. My heart lifts. David must want to help set up early. I wipe my hands on my apron and head toward the front door, but when I open it, something's wrong. David stands on the porch, keys still in his hand. He's not smiling. Jessica waits by their SUV, arms folded across her chest, sunglasses on even though the sun is barely up. She doesn't wave. David, honey, you're early. I wasn't expecting you until… Mom, we need to talk. The air changes. I step aside and he walks past me into the living room, not the kitchen where I've laid out everything. He doesn't sit. Neither do I. What's wrong? Is Emma okay? Emma's fine. It's about the party. Relief, then confusion. The party? Did the venue call you? I handled the final payment yesterday, so everything should… Jessica and I have been discussing it. His voice is flat, rehearsed. We think it's time you step back. We're handling the party from here. I blink. Step back? We appreciate everything you've done, but we've got it under control now. You don't need to keep planning. The words don't make sense. I'm holding a dish towel, and I realize I've been twisting it without knowing. David, I've already paid for almost everything. The venue, the deposit with the caterer, we'll take care of the rest. Jessica has some ideas. She wants a more modern aesthetic. Modern aesthetic. As if what I've done is outdated, irrelevant. I made Emma's dress, I say quietly. I'm sure it's nice, but Jessica already ordered something online. It'll be here tomorrow. Something inside me goes very still. So you don't want my help anymore. We don't need you anymore, Mom. We've got this. We don't need you anymore. Not thank you for the months of planning. Not we'll take it from here and you can relax now. Just that. An ending delivered in my own kitchen, surrounded by food I made with aching hands. I look at my son, this man I raised alone after his father died, and I try to find something familiar in his face, but he's looking toward the door, toward Jessica, toward a life that apparently no longer includes me. Of course, I hear myself say, if that's what you want, it's better this way, less stressful for everyone. He leaves before I can respond. I watch through the window as he walks to the car. Jessica gets in without a glance back. They drive away. I stand there until the sound of the engine fades completely. Then I walk back into the kitchen. The trays are lined up on every counter. Spanakopita, bruschetta, stuffed mushrooms, lemon bars cooling on a rack. 2 days of work, 200 individual pieces, each one made with the kind of care you can't fake. I sit down at the table. The house is silent, except for the ticking clock. I should call someone. My sister, maybe, or my friend Diane, but I don't move. I just sit, staring at the food that no one will eat, at the party that's no longer mine, at the careful plans now crumpled like used paper. I don't cry. Instead, something else happens. A coldness settles in my chest, sharp and clear as winter air. It's not anger, not yet. It's the sudden, unsettling realization that I have been useful, not loved, needed, not valued, and now, apparently, not even needed. I look down at my hands, swollen at the joints, marked by decades of giving. They're still now, completely still. I start wrapping the food in plastic, methodical, automatic. The spanakopita goes into containers. The bruschetta gets scraped into the compost because tomatoes don't keep. My hands move while my mind drifts backward, uninvited. David was 12 when his father collapsed in the garage. Heart attack. gone before the ambulance arrived. I was 36, a widow with a mortgage and a child who suddenly couldn't sleep without the hallway light on. The life insurance covered the funeral and 6 months of bills. After that, I took a job at the county clerk's office, filing, typing, answering phones. It paid enough, barely. But David wanted to stay at St. Augustine Prep, where his father had enrolled him, a private school I couldn't afford. I sold Richard's car, his tools, the boat we'd bought for a retirement that would never come. I worked weekends cleaning houses under the table. For 6 years, I paid $12,000 annually so David could wear that uniform and play lacrosse and get into a good college. He graduated valedictorian. I sat in the audience in a dress I'd owned for a decade, and when they called his name, I thought, we did it. I never told him I'd sold his father's things. What would be the point? The mushrooms go into the trash. They won't reheat well. David met Jessica his junior year at State. She was polished in a way I'd never been, with parents who owned a dental practice and a BMW she drove like it was nothing. When they got engaged, I was happy. He deserved someone who hadn't grown up counting pennies. They wanted a house, not a starter condo, a real house in a neighborhood with good schools. I'd been saving for retirement, a modest cushion I'd built by living small. $45,000, almost everything I had. It's a loan, Mom, David said. We'll pay you back as soon as Jessica's promotion comes through. I wrote the check. They bought the house. The promotion came and went. I never asked about repayment because asking felt like doubting him, and I couldn't bear for him to think I didn't believe in him. The lemon bars fit into a single tin. I'll bring them to the church potluck. Someone will eat them. 3 years after the wedding, David lost his job, corporate restructuring, nothing personal. Jessica was pregnant with Emma. I didn't wait for them to ask. I started covering their mortgage. 6 months, he said, just until he found something. 6 months became 7, then 8. I picked up extra shifts. I stopped contributing to my retirement account. When David finally got hired again, he never mentioned the money, so neither did I. I wiped down the counters. The kitchen looks like nothing ever happened here. Emma was born on a Tuesday in April. I was in the delivery room because Jessica's mother was in Florida and couldn't get a flight in time. I held that baby girl and felt my heart crack open in a way I hadn't known was possible. She looked like David when he was born. Same dark eyes, same serious expression. We're going to need help, Jessica said from the hospital bed. David's new job has crazy hours, and I need to go back to work. So I became the help, every Saturday and Sunday for 10 years. I'd arrive at 8 in the morning and leave after Emma's bedtime. I taught her to read. I made her pancakes shaped like Mickey Mouse. I sat through every cold she caught, every nightmare, every phase where she only wanted to wear purple. You're so good with her, Jessica would say, already halfway out the door to yoga or brunch with friends. We couldn't do this without you. And I'd smile because being needed felt like being loved. The grocery deliveries started when Emma was in elementary school. I'd noticed their fridge was always half empty. So every Thursday, I'd go to Costco and drop off staples, milk, bread, chicken, vegetables. I'd put everything away while they were at work and leave a note on the counter. Just thinking of you. They never asked me to stop, so I kept going. Emma's teeth came in crooked. Braces cost $6,000. Insurance covered half. I paid the rest because Jessica mentioned, casually, that they were tight that month. Emma got the braces. Her smile straightened. She never knew I was the reason. Summer camps, tutoring when she struggled with math, a laptop for her 13th birthday because hers was outdated and all her friends had new ones. I didn't keep a tally. You don't itemize love. I finish cleaning and realize it's almost noon. I need to drop off the final payment at the venue. The contract's in my name. The coordinator, Monica, has been sending me updates weekly. I grab my purse and head out. The drive takes 20 minutes. The terrace looks even more beautiful in daylight. Wisteria draping over the pergola, tables set up for an event tonight. Monica meets me at the entrance, tablet in hand. Margaret, perfect timing. I wanted to confirm the final head count for Saturday. I hand her the check. Everything should be set. 75 guests, updated menu, champagne toast at 7. She glances at her screen, and her expression shifts, confused, apologetic. Oh, I thought you knew. Jessica called yesterday. She made some changes to the menu, swapped the salmon for steak, upgraded the bar package. She also asked us to switch the billing to their account. She said you were no longer hosting. The words land like stones. She said what? Monica scrolls, reading. She mentioned you'd been helping with planning, but they were taking over from here. She seemed pretty clear. I assumed you two had discussed it. I stand there holding a check Monica no longer needs. My name is on the contract. I've spent months coordinating every detail, and with one phone call, I've been erased. I see, I say, and my voice sounds far away. Thank you for letting me know. Monica looks uncomfortable. If there's any confusion, I can call her back and… No, that won't be necessary. I walk back to my car. The sun is bright, almost aggressive. I get in, close the door, and sit with my hands on the steering wheel. People walk past. A couple laughs near the entrance. Somewhere, a bird is singing. I drive home on autopilot, stop signs and turns I don't remember making. The tears building behind my eyes refuse to fall, but they burn anyway. I grip the wheel tighter and focus on the road, because if I let go, I don't know what will happen. When I pull into my driveway, the house looks smaller than it did this morning. I sit in the car for a long time before I go inside. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I go to my filing cabinet and start pulling folders. Bank statements dating back to when David graduated college. Receipts I've kept in shoeboxes because some part of me always believed in documentation, even when I told myself the money didn't matter. By dawn, my dining table is covered in paper. I organize everything into stacks, chronological order. Each one tells a story I've never let myself read all at once. At 8 o'clock, I call Robert Chen. He's been my attorney since Richard died, helped me navigate the estate, the will, the endless paperwork of becoming a widow. He's semi-retired now, only takes select clients, but when I ask if he has time to see me today, he doesn't hesitate. Come at 10. I'll clear my morning. I arrive with the accordion folder so stuffed it barely closes. Robert's office is in an old converted house downtown, bookshelves floor to ceiling, the kind of place that smells like leather and old paper. He's waiting with coffee already poured. Margaret, sit. What's happened? I sit. I don't know where to start, so I open the folder and begin laying documents on his desk. Bank statements first. This is from 2008, David's senior year at St. Augustine, $12,000 for tuition. Robert puts on his reading glasses. This one's from 2011, $45,000. The down payment on his house. He called it a loan. Another stack, 2014 through early 2015. His mortgage payments. I covered 7 months, not 6, like he said. $8,400 total. I keep going. Car repairs when their transmission failed. The ER bill when Emma broke her arm and their deductible reset. Jessica's root canal. A new furnace when theirs died in January. Each piece of paper is dated, annotated in my careful handwriting. Robert doesn't interrupt. He reads, makes notes, occasionally glances up at me over the rims of his glasses. When I finish, there are receipts spread across every surface. I pull out my phone and show him the text messages. David, 3 years ago. Thanks for the help, Mom. We'll get you back as soon as things settle down. David, 2 years ago. You're a lifesaver. I promise we'll make this right. Promises that evaporated like morning fog. How much total? Robert asks. I've already done the math, 3 times, to make sure. $127,000, give or take a few hundred. He leans back in his chair. And this party situation. Walk me through it again. I tell him about yesterday. The kitchen, the dismissal, Monica at the venue. The billing switched without a word to me. Robert's jaw tightens, but his voice stays level. Do you have the contract for the venue? I pull it out. My name is the primary contact. My credit card on file. And the house deed? I have a copy. Robert examines it closely. You're listed as co-signer on the original mortgage. That means any refinancing, any major changes, they need your signature. I didn't know if that still mattered. It matters. He sets the deed aside and looks at me directly. Margaret, I need to be honest with you. Most of this money, legally, you can't get back. The tuition, the bills you paid, even the down payment unless you have a signed promissory note, it's considered a gift in the eyes of the law. I nod. I expected this. But, he continues, the cosign gives you leverage. If they try to refinance or sell without your consent, they can't. And this monthly amount you've been sending, $1,200 for emergencies, that stops the moment you say so. It's your money. You don't owe them a dime going forward. $1,200 a month. I started that 4 years ago when Jessica went part-time at her job. It was supposed to be temporary. It became permanent without discussion. An automatic transfer on the first of every month. $14,400 annually, $57,000 over 4 years. What do you want to happen here? Robert asks, because I can draft a demand letter for repayment, but given the lack of documentation, it won't hold up in court. Or I can pursue the cosign angle, make things difficult for them if they're planning to leverage the house. But that gets messy. Family law always does. I stare at the papers. A decade and a half of my financial life, traded for a relationship that just got canceled like a subscription service. I don't want their money back, I say slowly. I don't even know if I want them to suffer. Then what do you want? The question hangs there. What do I want? I want them to see me, I finally say. Not as a resource, not as free labor. As a person who deserves basic respect. I want them to understand there are consequences when you treat people like they're disposable. Robert nods. I can work with that. He pulls a legal pad toward him and starts writing. Here's what I propose. A formal letter, on firm letterhead, outlining the following. 1. Cessation of all financial support effective immediately. 2. Notification that you will not co-sign any future refinancing or modifications to their mortgage without explicit terms discussed and agreed upon in writing. 3. A polite but firm reminder that you have documentation of all monetary support provided over the years. That sounds like a threat. It's not a threat. It's a boundary. You're not suing. You're not demanding repayment. You're simply stating what you will and won't do going forward. They can take it however they want. I think about David's face when he told me I wasn't needed. Jessica's arms crossed by the car. The party I planned that I'm no longer allowed to host. Do it, I say. Robert writes for several minutes. Then he looks up. The monthly transfers. When do you want them to stop? Today. Done. I'll contact your bank and cancel the automatic payment. And Margaret, one more thing. Your will. When was it last updated? 5 years ago. David is the primary beneficiary. Emma gets a trust, but it's managed by him until she's 30. Robert's expression tells me what he thinks of that arrangement. Might be time to revisit. You don't have to decide now, but think about it. I gather the papers back into the folder. My hands are steadier than they've been in days. How long until the letter is ready? I'll have it drafted by tomorrow, sent by end of week. Certified mail. Signature required. They'll know you mean business. I stand. Robert walks me to the door, hand briefly on my shoulder. You're doing the right thing. I've known you 26 years. You're one of the kindest people I've ever met. But kindness shouldn't mean letting people erase you. I drive home with the folder on the passenger seat. The sun is high now, the day ordinary for everyone else. But something fundamental has shifted. I've spent 15 years giving without asking for anything in return. That ends now. Saturday arrives bright and warm, perfect weather for a garden party. I wake at 6 out of habit, then remember I have nowhere to be, no setup to oversee, no last-minute crises to solve. I make coffee and sit at the kitchen table in my robe, listening to the house settle around me. By 7:00 I'm dressed. I pull out the card I bought for Emma 2 months ago, back when I still believed I'd be handing it to her in person. The front has watercolor flowers, delicate and hopeful. I open it and write, Dearest Emma, today marks the beginning of everything you've worked so hard for. I'm so proud of the woman you've become. Your intelligence, your kindness, your strength. Whatever path you choose, know that you carry my love with you always. This is for your future, whatever shape it takes. All my heart, Grandma. I slip 5 $100 bills inside. It's not a college fund, but it's something she can use however she wants. A plane ticket somewhere, books, a safety net. I seal the envelope and address it to her directly, not to the house. I'll mail it Monday so it arrives after the party, when things are quiet and she can open it alone. The rest of the morning I spend in my office, a spare bedroom I converted years ago. I pull out my will, the estate documents, insurance policies. Everything is organized but outdated. David's name appears over and over. Executor, beneficiary, trustee for Emma's inheritance. I stare at those designations and realize how much power I've handed someone who just uninvited me from his daughter's celebration. I call Robert's emergency line. He answers on the 3rd ring. Margaret, everything okay? I want to change my will, soon as possible. I'll draft something next week. We can meet Wednesday. Thank you. I hang up and keep sorting. Insurance beneficiaries. Updated. Bank account payable on death designations. Revised. By noon, I have a list of every financial thread that ties me to David, and a plan to cut each one cleanly. My phone buzzes. A text from my sister Linda. Are you at the party? Jessica's posts look beautiful. I don't respond. Instead, I open social media for the first time in weeks. Jessica's account is public, and sure enough, there are photos. The terrace draped in lights, Emma in a white dress I've never seen, laughing with friends, tables set with centerpieces I didn't choose, a champagne tower catching the sunset, and the caption, "So grateful to everyone who made today possible. Couldn't have done it without our amazing village." There are 32 comments already. Friends and relatives gushing congratulations. I scroll through, looking for my name. It's not there. Not in the post, not in the comments. I've been digitally erased as efficiently as I was physically excluded. Another text, this time from my cousin Diane. "Where are you? I'm here and haven't seen you yet." Then another from Linda. "Margaret, call me. People are asking questions." I turn my phone face down and go back to my paperwork. Let them ask. Let Jessica explain why the woman who funded half this party is sitting home alone. The afternoon passes in silence. I eat a sandwich without tasting it. I water my plants. I sit in the backyard and watch the shadows lengthen. Somewhere across town, Emma is celebrating. I hope she's happy. I hope she doesn't notice I'm missing, because if she does, it will hurt her, and none of this is her fault. By evening, my phone is lighting up constantly. Linda, Diane, two of David's cousins, a friend from church. I silence it and make tea. The messages can wait. At 10:30, the phone rings. Not a text, a call. David's name on the screen. I almost don't answer, but curiosity wins. "Hello? Mom." His voice is clipped, strained. "Where were you today?" "At home." "You didn't come to Emma's party." "I wasn't invited." "That's not..." "We didn't say you couldn't come. We just said we were handling it." I sip my tea. "You told me you didn't need me. I took you at your word. People kept asking where you were. Aunt Linda cornered Jessica, asking if you were sick. Diane practically interrogated me. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing. Not hurtful, not wrong. Embarrassing for him. I sent Emma a card," I say. "She'll get it in a few days. That's not the point. You should have been there. You could have just, I don't know, stayed in the background, helped with cleanup or something." The audacity of it lands like a physical blow. He wants me present but invisible, useful but unacknowledged, a servant at my own granddaughter's party. "David, you stood in my kitchen 5 days ago and told me Jessica wanted to take over. You said I should step back. You said you didn't need me anymore. Those were your exact words. I didn't mean you shouldn't show up at all." "Then what did you mean?" Silence. He has no answer because he didn't think this through. He wanted my money, my labor, my time, but not my presence. He wanted all the benefits of a mother without the inconvenience of acknowledging one. "You made us look bad," he finally says. "I made you look bad." "Yes. Jessica spent half the night making excuses for why you weren't there." "What did she tell them? That you weren't feeling well? What else could she say?" "She could have told the truth. That you uninvited me from a party I planned and paid for." His voice sharpens. "You didn't pay for all of it. I paid for the venue, the deposit, the flowers, Emma's original dress, $8,000. David. The only reason Jessica could swoop in and upgrade everything was because I laid the groundwork. We would have figured it out without you." The words hang between us, cruel and careless. "I'm sure you would have," I say quietly. "And from now on, you will." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means I heard you. You don't need me, so I'm respecting that." "Mom, don't be dramatic." "I'm not being dramatic. I'm being clear. You've made your position known. I'm simply accepting it." He exhales, frustrated. "Look, if this is about the party planning, I'm sorry Jessica hurt your feelings, but you're blowing this way out of proportion. Hurt feelings, as if this is about wounded pride and not systematic dismissal. Good night, David." "Wait, we're not done talking about this." "Yes, we are. Emma's party is over. There's nothing left to discuss." "Mom," I end the call. My hand is shaking as I set the phone down, but my voice was steady. That matters. Within minutes, a text arrives. "You're being unreasonable. Call me back." I delete it. Another, "Fine. Be stubborn, but don't expect me to keep defending you to everyone." I block his number. Not permanently, just for tonight. I need silence. I finish my tea and rinse the cup. Outside, the neighborhood is dark and quiet. Tomorrow is Sunday. I'll go to church, smile at familiar faces, let them ask their questions, and I'll tell them the truth, simple and unadorned. I wasn't needed, so I didn't go. Let them make of that what they will. Monday morning, I'm at the bank when they open. I've been a customer here for 32 years, long enough that the manager greets me by name. Margaret, good to see you. What can we help you with today? I sit across from him in his glass-walled office and slide a piece of paper across the desk. On it, I've written account numbers, card details, authorization codes. I need to cancel this credit card. It's under my account, but issued to my son and daughter-in-law. And I need to stop an automatic monthly transfer, $1,200, same recipients. He types, scanning his screen. The card ending in 4738. That's the one. He pulls up the recent activity. His eyebrows rise slightly. There's a current balance of $3,400, charged within the last billing cycle. I lean forward. Show me. He turns the monitor. The charges scroll down the screen. Dinner at a steakhouse, $240. A department store, $600. Another restaurant, $180. Boutique clothing, $450. A spa, $300. Wine shop, $220. On and on. Luxuries purchased without a second thought because someone else was paying. Cancel it, I say. Effective immediately. The outstanding balance will need to be settled. Do you want to pay it? Or should we transfer it to their responsibility? Transfer it. They made the charges. They can handle the bill. He nods, typing. And the monthly transfer. Stop it. Today. Done. Anything else? I pull out another document. I want to add a note to my file. No new loans, no cosigns, nothing that involves my name or credit without my physical presence and explicit written consent. If anyone calls claiming to be my son and requests financial services, the answer is no. He writes it down, flags it in the system. We'll make sure the whole team sees this. You're protected. I stand, shake his hand. Thank you. The next stop is Robert's office. He has the updated will ready, printed and waiting for my signature. I read every page carefully. Emma is now the sole beneficiary. Her inheritance placed in a trust she'll control at 25, managed by Robert's firm, not by David. My house, my savings, my life insurance, everything goes to her directly. David receives $1 and a letter I've written, sealed and attached to the document. You're sure about this? Robert asks. Completely. I sign. He witnesses. It's done. By Wednesday, I've rearranged my entire financial life. New passwords on every account, paperwork filed, locks changed, not on doors, but on access. I feel lighter, like I've been carrying stones in my pockets for years and finally realized I could set them down. Thursday afternoon, my phone rings. I've unblocked David's number because avoiding him forever isn't realistic, but I let it ring 4 times before answering. Yes. What did you do? His voice is sharp, accusatory. Jessica's card got declined at a store today. She called the bank and they said the account was closed. I closed it. You what? I canceled the credit card. It was under my name, my account. I decided I no longer wanted to maintain it. You can't just do that without telling us. Actually, I can. It's my card. We have a balance on there, $3,400. I'm aware. The bank transferred it to your responsibility. You'll receive a statement. Silence. Then, low and dangerous. Why would you do this? I'm 64, David. I need to plan for my retirement. My financial advisor suggested I reduce unnecessary expenses. We're not an expense. We're your family. Family doesn't get uninvited from graduations. Family doesn't get erased from events they planned. So this is about the party. You're punishing us. I walk to my kitchen window, look out at the backyard where Emma used to play when she was small. The swing set is still there, rusted now, unused. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm simply no longer paying for your life. That's the same thing. No, it's not. Punishment would be demanding you repay everything I've given you. Punishment would be making your life difficult out of spite. I'm doing neither. I'm just stopping the flow of money. There's a difference. The monthly transfers too. Those too. Mom, we budget around that money. We have bills. Then you'll need to adjust your budget. His voice rises. You're being vindictive over one stupid party. It wasn't one party, David. It was being told I'm not needed, then discovering I'd been removed from the event entirely. It was realizing you see me as a wallet, not a person. That's not fair. Fair would have been a conversation. Fair would have been thank you for the $8,000 I already spent. Fair would have been inviting your mother to her only granddaughter's college graduation. You could have come anyway. After you explicitly said you didn't need me? After Jessica changed everything I planned without a word? Why would I subject myself to that? Because family shows up. The irony is so thick I almost laugh. You're right. Family does show up. Where were you when your father died and I worked 3 jobs to keep you in private school? Where were you when I emptied my savings so you could buy a house? I showed up, David. For 26 years, I showed up, and we appreciated it. You had a funny way of showing it. He switches tactics, voice softening. Mom, look, maybe we handled things badly, but cutting us off financially, that's extreme. Can't we just talk about this? We are talking. I mean, really talk. Sit down. Figure this out. There's nothing to figure out. You said you don't need me. I'm taking you at your word. You're both employed. You own a home. Emma's finished school. You're adults. You can manage. What about emergencies? Call your insurance company. Mom, please. The pleading in his voice would have worked a week ago. But I've spent 7 days sitting with the reality of how they see me, and I can't unsee it. David, I love you. That hasn't changed. But I won't continue funding a life for people who don't value my presence in it. We do value you. Then why wasn't I at the party? No answer. Because there is no good answer. I need to go, I say. Take care of yourself. Wait, I hang up. The phone rings again immediately. I silence it. A text arrives. We need to talk about this in person. This is ridiculous. I don't reply. Another text. This one from Jessica. I don't know what David said to you, but this is childish. Canceling our card without warning. Grow up. I stare at the message. Grow up. From a woman who just spent $600 of my money on clothes. I block her number too. The house is quiet. Outside, a neighbor mows their lawn. A dog barks. Life continues, ordinary and unchanged, while inside these walls, everything has shifted. I make dinner, a simple pasta I eat at the table with a book propped open. No one to cook for but myself. No one's preferences to consider. Just me, a meal, and the strange peace of no longer performing gratitude for people who stopped seeing me years ago. Friday morning, I'm repotting orchids on the back porch when I hear a car door slam. I glance up to see Jessica walking across my lawn, heels sinking slightly in the grass. She's wearing sunglasses despite the overcast sky, and she's moving fast. I set down my trowel and wait. She doesn't knock, just opens the gate to the porch and stands there, arms wrapped around herself like she's cold. When she takes off the sunglasses, her eyes are red-rimmed. Margaret, we need to talk. About what? She sits without being invited, perching on the edge of the wicker chair. About what you're doing to us, to our family. I rinse my hands in the bucket of water beside me and dry them on a towel. I'm repotting orchids. I'm not doing anything to anyone. You know what I mean. The credit card, the money. David's been a wreck all week. I'm sorry he's upset. Are you? Her voice cracks. Because it doesn't seem like you care at all. We thought you wanted to help us. You always offered, always insisted. And now suddenly you just cut us off like we're strangers. I meet her eyes. When did I offer to pay for spa treatments and steakhouse dinners? She blinks. What? The credit card charges $3,400 last month alone. I saw the statement. $200 meals, boutique shopping, a $300 spa day. When exactly did I offer to fund that? Her mouth opens, closes. We needed those things. Did you? Yes, David works incredibly hard. He deserves to unwind. I deserve to feel good about myself. I agree. You both deserve nice things. But why am I the one paying for them? She looks away, jaw tight. You never complained before. That doesn't mean I agreed to it. It means I didn't realize what was happening until I looked closely. Jessica switches directions, leaning forward, voice dropping. Margaret, David is barely sleeping. He's stressed about work, about money, about everything. And now you're making it so much harder for him. He doesn't need this right now. Why would my retirement planning create stress for David? Because he's worried about you. He thinks you're making rash decisions, that you're not thinking clearly. I almost laugh. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in years. No, you're acting out of spite because of one misunderstanding about a party. Is that what you're calling it? A misunderstanding? Yes, we never said you couldn't come. We just wanted to handle the details ourselves. You're twisting everything. I stand, walk to the porch railing. A robin is hopping across the yard, hunting for worms in the damp soil. Jessica, I was standing in my kitchen when David told me you were taking over. He said, specifically, you don't need me anymore. Those were his words. Not you can relax now. Not we'll take it from here. You don't need me. Then I went to the venue and learned you'd removed me from the billing, changed the menu I'd selected, erased me completely. Which part am I twisting? You're making it sound worse than it was. How would you describe it? She stands too, arms crossed defensively. I would say we were trying to give you a break. You're always doing so much, and we thought it would be nice if you could just enjoy the party instead of working. But you turned it into this whole thing. By not attending, by disappearing, by embarrassing us in front of everyone. I sent Emma a card with $500. I didn't make a scene. I simply stayed home, like you suggested. We didn't suggest that. You said you didn't need me. What else could that mean? Her face flushes. You're being intentionally difficult. You know what we meant. Actually, I don't. Explain it to me. She throws her hands up. Fine. You want me to spell it out. We wanted to host our daughter's graduation without you micromanaging every detail like you always do. We wanted one event that was ours, not yours. Is that so terrible? The honesty, sharp and cutting, lands between us. Finally, the truth. No, I say quietly. That's not terrible. You're entitled to host your own events, but you're not entitled to my money while doing it. Jessica's expression hardens. So you are punishing us. I'm stopping a pattern that wasn't sustainable. There's a difference. Emma's going to notice. She's going to wonder why her grandmother suddenly abandoned her. The word hits like a slap, designed to wound. I turn to face Jessica fully. When did I abandon Emma? You're cutting us off. That affects her too. I sent her $500 and a letter telling her how proud I am. I'm not cutting off Emma. I'm setting boundaries with you and David. She'll see it differently. She'll think you don't love her anymore. Then you'll have to explain to her why that's not true. You'll have to tell her that her grandmother stopped funding her parents' lifestyle, not that she stopped loving her granddaughter. Jessica's eyes narrow. You're really going to do this? Destroy our relationship over money? I'm not destroying anything. You did that when you erased me from the party. I'm just refusing to keep paying for the privilege of being disrespected. We never disrespected you. You removed me from an event I planned and paid for without a word. You changed vendors, menus, everything, then posted on social media thanking everyone except me. What would you call that? Being independent. At my expense. Literally. Jessica grabs her purse, sunglasses back on. You're going to regret this. When you're old and alone and you realize you destroyed your relationship with your only son over pride, you're going to regret it. Maybe. But I'll regret it in a house I can afford because I stopped hemorrhaging money to people who don't appreciate it. She walks to the gate, pauses. David was right. You've changed. You're not the person you used to be. You're absolutely right. I'm not. She leaves, gate slamming behind her. I watch her car peel out of the driveway too fast, tires squealing slightly on the turn. I sit back down with my orchids. My hands are shaking, but my breathing is steady. Every tactic she tried, I've seen before. Guilt, victimhood, rewriting history, threatening my relationship with Emma. Classic manipulation, textbook moves designed to make me doubt myself. But I've done the math. I've seen the bank statements. I know what's real, and I'm not budging. The orchid in front of me has root rot, brown and mushy where it should be firm and white. I trim away the dead parts carefully, rinse the healthy roots, replant it in fresh medium. Sometimes the only way to save something is to cut away what's killing it. I think the same might be true for families. 2 weeks pass in relative quiet. I join a book club at the library, something I've been meaning to do for years, but never had time for. I schedule a long overdue physical with my doctor. I clean out closets, donate clothes, reorganize the basement. Small acts of reclaiming a life that had become entirely about other people's needs. Then David calls on a Tuesday afternoon. His voice is honey smooth, the tone he used to use as a child when he wanted something. Hey, Mom, how are you? I'm folding laundry. I tuck the phone between my shoulder and ear. I'm well. You? Good, good. Listen, I need a small favor. Just some paperwork that needs your signature. Bank stuff, nothing major. I stop folding. What kind of paperwork? We're refinancing the house. Interest rates dropped, and we want to lock in a better deal. The bank needs all the original signers to approve. You're still listed from when we bought it, so they need your signature. Total formality. Refinancing to lower your rate. Yeah, well, and to pull a little equity. We've been in the house almost 10 years. It's appreciated a lot. I set down the towel I'm holding. What are you using the equity for? A pause. Does it matter? If you're asking me to sign legal documents, yes, it matters. He sighs. Jessica's been wanting to take Emma on a graduation trip to Europe, and our car is on its last legs. We need a new one. The equity covers both. It's smart financial planning. A luxury vacation and a new car, funded by pulling money from a house I helped them buy in the first place. How much equity are you pulling? 60,000. I sit down. And you need my signature because I'm on the original deed. Right. It's just a formality. You don't have to do anything except sign. I can bring the papers by tomorrow. Let me think about it. Mom, there's a deadline. We need this done by Friday or we lose the rate lock. Then I'll think quickly. I'll call you back tomorrow. Wait, what's there to think about? It's a signature. It's a legal document involving a significant amount of money. I'd like to review it with my attorney first. His voice cools. Your attorney? Are you serious right now? Completely. I'll look it over with Robert and get back to you. This is insane. It's our house, our decision. You're just a name on old paperwork. If I'm just a name on old paperwork, you don't need my signature. But apparently you do. So I'll review the documents and let you know. I hang up before he can argue further. The next morning, I'm in Robert's office with the refinancing papers David emailed over. Robert reads through them, occasionally making notes, his expression growing more skeptical by the page. They want to pull 60,000 in equity and they're not removing you as co-signer on the new loan, so you'd still be liable if they default, but you'd have no access to the funds they're borrowing. Can they do that? Not without your agreement, which is why they need your signature. He sets the papers down. Margaret, I have to ask, do you want to sign this? What happens if I don't? They can't refinance, not with this structure. They'd have to either find a lender willing to work without your signature, which is unlikely given you're on the original deed, or they'd have to refinance in a way that removes you entirely, which would require them to qualify on their own merit. Could they do that? Qualify without me? Robert pulls up something on his computer. Possibly. Their income is decent. But they have significant credit card debt, the car loan you're no longer covering, and no real savings that I can see from public records. A lender might require a co-signer, which is probably why they're trying to keep you on this one. You make them look more stable. I stare at the papers. A decade ago, I co-signed because I wanted to help them build a future. Now they want to use my name to fund vacations. What are my options? Robert leans back. You can sign as is, which I don't recommend. You can refuse to sign, which will likely cause a significant confrontation. Or you can make your signature conditional on certain terms. What kind of terms? Whatever you want. This is a negotiation. They need you more than you need them right now. I think about the $45,000 I gave them for the down payment. The money I'll never see again unless I force the issue. I want 3 things, I say slowly. 1. A formal written acknowledgement that the original $45,000 down payment was a loan, not a gift, with a reasonable repayment plan. 2. They refinance in a way that removes my name entirely, proving they can handle this financially without me. 3. A written letter to Emma, signed by both of them, explaining that I didn't abandon her, that they chose to exclude me from the graduation party. Robert writes it down. Those are reasonable terms. Probably too reasonable, honestly. But if you want to sign at all, this protects you. And if they refuse, then they don't get their refinance, and you remain on the deed, which gives you leverage for as long as they own that house. He drafts a formal response outlining my conditions. It's professional, clear, and non-negotiable. I sign it, and he sends it to David via certified mail with a copy to their bank. The call comes 6 hours later. David doesn't bother with pleasantries. Are you kidding me with this? You're holding our house hostage. I'm not holding anything hostage. I'm setting terms for my cooperation. These terms are insane. Repayment plan for the down payment, that was a gift. You said so at the time. I said it was to help you. I never said you didn't have to pay it back. That's not how I remember it. Then we remember differently. But the current situation is simple. You need my signature. I'm willing to give it under specific conditions. The letter to Emma? What is that? Some kind of revenge fantasy. You want us to grovel. I want you to tell your daughter the truth, that you excluded me from her party. Not that I abandoned her. Jessica threatened me with exactly that narrative. I'm closing that door. We're not writing that letter. It makes us look terrible. Then I suppose you'll need to find another cosigner. Mom, this is our house, our equity. You have no right to make demands. I have every right to decide whether I sign legal documents. You're asking for my help. I'm telling you my price. Jessica's voice cuts in from the background. This is extortion. It's a boundary, I say calmly. You want something from me. I'm willing to provide it in exchange for accountability and honesty. That's how transactions work. David's breathing is heavy, ragged. You've lost your mind. You're destroying this family over money. You destroyed this family when you told me you didn't need me, then tried to keep using my resources anyway. I'm just making the reality match your words. We'll fight this. We'll get a lawyer. You're welcome to try. But Robert assures me my position is legally sound. I'm not required to co-sign anything. And until you meet my terms or remove me from the deed entirely, that house is as much my business as yours. The line goes silent for a long moment. Then David's voice, low and bitter. I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm someone who finally learned to value herself as much as she valued you. I'm sorry you don't recognize that version of me. He hangs up. I sit with the phone in my lap, staring out the window at the maple tree in the front yard. Its leaves are turning, gold and crimson, the slow burn of seasonal change. Somewhere across town, David and Jessica are furious, scrambling, maybe finally realizing I'm not the endless, well, they thought I was. And here, in my quiet house, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Power. The campaign starts subtly. A friend from church stops me after Sunday service, touching my arm with exaggerated concern. Margaret, dear, are you feeling all right? Linda mentioned you've been under some stress. Linda is my younger sister, lives 2 states away. We talk maybe once a month. The fact that she's discussing my health with church friends means someone got to her first. I'm fine, thank you. Never better, actually. The woman looks uncertain, like she expected a different answer. Well, if you ever need to talk, I'm here. 2 days later, my phone rings. Linda, her voice tight with worry. Maggie, what's going on? Jessica called me yesterday. She's very concerned about you. I'm pulling weeds in the front garden. I sit back on my heels. Concerned how? She said you've cut them off financially without warning, that you're refusing to help with basic things, and you wouldn't even go to Emma's graduation. She thinks maybe you're, I don't know, having some kind of episode. Episode, a careful word, implying instability, confusion, age-related decline. Linda, did Jessica mention why I didn't attend the graduation? She said you were upset about party planning details. Did she mention that David told me they didn't need me anymore? That they removed me from the event I'd organized and paid for? Silence. What? I spent $8,000 on that party. Booked the venue, paid deposits, planned everything. Then David showed up and said they were taking over. Jessica called the venue and switched the billing to their name, erased me completely. When I found out, I chose not to attend an event where I clearly wasn't wanted. That can't be right. Why would they do that? You'd have to ask them. But that's what happened. Linda processes this. And the money thing? Jessica said you canceled their credit card, stopped helping them. I canceled a credit card that was under my account, which they'd charged $3,400 on last month alone. Restaurants, shopping, spa treatments. And I stopped a monthly transfer of $1,200 I've been sending them for 4 years. $57,000 total, Ska. Linda. For emergencies that apparently include steakhouse dinners and boutique clothes. $1,200 a month? For 4 years? Yes. Maggie, that's more than my mortgage. I'm aware. She exhales slowly. Jessica made it sound like you were being cruel, irrational. I'm sure she did. What I'm being is done. Does David know she's calling people? Probably encouraged it. They need me to look unreasonable so they can avoid looking entitled. Linda is quiet for a long moment. I'm sorry. I should have asked you first before believing her version. It's all right, but if anyone else calls you, feel free to ask them if they'd keep funding someone who told them they weren't needed. After we hang up, I wait. Linda is protective, always has been. She's also connected to every branch of our family tree. If I know her, she's already making calls. By the end of the week, the narrative shifts. My cousin Diane calls, not with concern, but with outrage. I just heard what David did. Margaret, why didn't you tell anyone? It wasn't anyone's business. Like hell it wasn't. He uninvited you from Emma's graduation after you paid for it. He said they didn't need me. That boy needs a reality check. I'm calling him. Diane, you don't have to. Oh, I absolutely do. She hangs up before I can stop her. I imagine David's phone ringing, Diane's voice sharp and unforgiving on the other end. She's family matriarch now that our grandmother is gone, and she doesn't tolerate disrespect. The next call is from David's godmother, Patricia. She raised him summers when Richard and I needed a break, taught him to fish, spoiled him in all the ways godmothers do. Margaret, I heard some troubling things. Is it true David asked you not to come to Emma's party? I explain, brief and factual. She listens without interrupting. That child, she says finally, and her voice is heavy with disappointment. I love him, but that child has always taken you for granted. Even when he was small, he'd assume you'd fix everything, buy everything, handle everything. I tried to talk to him about it once. He said you liked helping. I did like helping. Past tense. Good. It's about time. More calls follow. Friends, family, people Jessica apparently contacted to build her case against me. But now they're hearing both sides, and the math doesn't work in David and Jessica's favor. My neighbor, Carol, who I've known for 15 years, brings over coffee cake and sits at my kitchen table. I ran into Jessica at the grocery store yesterday. She tried to tell me you're going through something, that you're not yourself. I told her the Margaret I know would never be cruel without reason, and if you cut them off, they must have earned it. What did she say? Nothing. Just gave me a dirty look and walked away. The fractures spread through the family like cracks in ice. David's cousin Mark, who's always been blunt, calls David directly. I know this because Mark calls me afterward. I asked him why he thought it was okay to treat you like an ATM. You know what he said? What? That you offered. That it was your choice to help. Like that makes it fine to take and never say thank you. What did you tell him? I told him offering doesn't mean forever, and taking advantage of your mother's generosity doesn't make you a good son. He hung up on me. I thank Mark, and after the call, I sit with the realization that I'm not fighting this battle alone anymore. I didn't ask for reinforcements, didn't even want them, but the truth has a weight of its own, and once it's out, it spreads. Jessica tries one more time, posting something vague on social media about family loyalty and people who abandon you when you need them most. The comments section fills quickly, but not the way she probably hoped. Linda comments, "Loyalty goes both ways." Diane, maybe ask yourself why someone felt the need to step back. Patricia, family means showing up, not just when it's convenient. Jessica deletes the post within an hour. David calls late one night, his voice exhausted. Can you please tell everyone to back off? Diane called me twice today. Mark sent a long text. Even Patricia emailed. I'm getting attacked from all sides. I didn't ask them to do anything. Then tell them to stop. They're adults making their own decisions based on information they asked for. I can't control what they think or how they respond. You could if you wanted to. You're turning everyone against us. David, I told them the truth when they asked. That's all. If the truth makes you look bad, maybe the problem isn't me. He's silent for a beat. Then, this is all because of a stupid party. It's because you told me I wasn't needed, then tried to keep taking my money anyway. The party was just the moment I finally saw it clearly. So what now? You're just going to let the whole family tear us apart. The family isn't tearing you apart. They're asking you questions you can't answer. There's a difference. He hangs up without saying goodbye. I sit in the dark kitchen, moonlight coming through the window over the sink. The house is mine again, not a staging ground for other people's needs. The silence is deep, but it's not lonely. Somewhere out there, David and Jessica are scrambling, trying to rebuild a narrative that keeps crumbling under the weight of facts. And here, I'm simply existing. no longer bending myself into shapes to make their lives easier. The family hasn't fractured because of me. It's fractured because the foundation was never as solid as everyone pretended. Emma's birthday falls 3 weeks after the graduation. She turns 22 on a Wednesday, and I spend the morning shopping for something meaningful. I find a vintage leather journal in an antique store, the kind with thick cream pages and a brass clasp. Inside the cover, I tuck a gift card to her favorite bookstore and write a note on the first page. Emma, may this book hold all the dreams, plans, and adventures you're brave enough to write down. The world is waiting for you. With all my love, Grandma. I mail it priority, time to arrive on her actual birthday, not early, not late. Precision matters when you want someone to know they're thought of. Thursday afternoon. My phone rings. Emma's name lights up the screen. I answer on the second ring. Grandma? Her voice is thick, unsteady. She's been crying. Emma, sweetheart, what's wrong? Why didn't you come to my graduation? The question I've been dreading. I set down the book I was reading and focus completely. What did your parents tell you? Mom said you were sick, that you wanted to come but weren't feeling well. But then Sarah's mom asked me how you were doing, and when I said you were sick during graduation, she looked confused. She said she saw you at church that Sunday looking perfectly fine. So I asked Mom again, and she got weird and defensive. Grandma, what really happened? I close my eyes. This is the moment. I can lie to protect David and Jessica, or I can tell Emma the truth and risk looking like I'm turning her against them. But I've spent too many years protecting people who wouldn't do the same for me. Emma, I wanted to be at your graduation. I planned to be there. I spent months organizing that party, booking the venue, arranging everything. But your parents decided they wanted to handle it differently. They told me they didn't need my help anymore, and they took over. I respected their choice. They told you not to come. They told me they didn't need me. When I went to the venue to finalize details, I learned your mom had called and removed me from the planning entirely, changed the menu, switched the billing to their account. I wasn't hosting anymore, so I didn't attend. Silence on the other end, then a sharp intake of breath. They kicked you out of my graduation party. After you planned it, they wanted to do things their own way. That's their right. No, it's not. Not like that. Grandma, you paid for everything. You made my dress. You've done everything for me my whole life. They had no right. Her voice is rising, fury replacing confusion. I can hear movement, like she's pacing. Emma, I don't want to cause problems between you and your parents. They caused this problem, not you. Do you know how many people asked where you were? I kept saying you were sick because that's what Mom told me to say. But I felt weird about it. I thought maybe you were mad at me or something. I could never be mad at you. This has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me. It was my graduation. You should have been there. There's a muffled sound, voices in the background, then David's voice, sharp and close. Who are you talking to? Grandma. And don't try to take the phone. But there's scuffling, and then David's voice comes through clearly, tight with anger. Mom, what are you doing? I'm talking to my granddaughter. You're manipulating her, turning her against us. Something cold and sharp settles in my chest. My voice, when I speak, is perfectly calm. I have never lied to your daughter. Can you say the same? Excuse me. You told her I was sick, that I wanted to be there but couldn't. That's a lie, David. I was perfectly healthy. You told me not to come. We never said that. You said you didn't need me. Your wife removed me from the party planning without a word. What exactly did you think would happen? That I'd show up anyway and hover in the background, grateful for scraps. Emma's voice cuts in, distant but audible. Dad, is that true? Did you tell Grandma she wasn't needed? Emma, this is between me and your grandmother. Stay out of it. It's my graduation we're talking about. I'm not staying out of it. David's breathing is ragged. Mom, you need to stop poisoning her against us. I told her the truth because she asked. If the truth poisons her against you, that's your responsibility, not mine. You're being vindictive. I'm being honest. There's a difference. And if you've been lying to Emma about why I wasn't there, that's on you. We didn't lie. We simplified. You told her I was sick when I was healthy. You told her I wanted to be there when you explicitly told me I wasn't needed. Those are lies, David. And now she knows. Emma's voice again. Louder now, speaking to David. You told Grandma she wasn't needed. At my graduation. Emma, You don't understand the context. What context makes that okay? David doesn't answer. I can hear him breathing, trapped between his daughter's anger and the reality he can't explain away. I need to go, he says abruptly. Mom, stop calling here and filling her head with your version of events. I didn't call. She called me. And I didn't give her my version. I gave her facts. The line goes dead. I sit holding the phone, heart pounding but mind clear. Emma deserved the truth. I won't apologize for giving it to her. 10 minutes later, Emma calls back. Her voice is steadier now, but there's steel underneath. Grandma, I'm so sorry. I had no idea they did that to you. It's not your fault, sweetheart. It's not yours either, and I'm not letting them get away with it. I just told Dad that what they did was wrong. He tried to say it was complicated, but it's not. They hurt you, and they lied to me about it. Emma, I don't want to come between you and your parents. You're not. They did this. And Grandma, thank you for the journal. It's perfect. And thank you for always being honest with me, even when it's hard. My throat tightens. You're welcome, honey. I love you. I love you too. So much. After we hang up, I sit in the quiet living room as evening light fades through the windows. I didn't set out to turn Emma against her parents, but I won't lie to protect people who wouldn't tell her the truth. David wanted me silent, compliant, willing to absorb blame for his choices, but I've stopped carrying weight that isn't mine. And if that means Emma finally sees her parents clearly, maybe that's not the worst thing that could happen. The refinance falls through in early October. I hear about it not from David, but from Robert, who gets a notification because my name is still attached to the original deed. They tried going through a different lender, he tells me over the phone. Got denied. Credit-to-debt ratio too high, insufficient savings, too many recent inquiries on their credit report. Without you co-signing, they don't qualify. What happens now? They're stuck with their current mortgage and no access to that equity they wanted, the trip to Europe, the new car, whatever else they were planning. It's not happening. I thank him and hang up. I don't feel victorious. I don't feel anything except a distant sort of observation, like watching weather move across a landscape that's no longer mine to tend. 3 weeks later, Emma and I meet for lunch at a small bistro downtown. She's animated, telling me about a job offer in Boston, a nonprofit focused on literacy programs. Her eyes shine when she talks about it. I'm going to take it. I know Mom wants me to stay close, but this is what I want. Then you should absolutely take it. You're not going to try to talk me out of it. Why would I? You're 22. Your life is yours to build. She reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. I'm glad I have you, Grandma. We make plans to meet again the following weekend. As I drive home, I realize this is what family is supposed to feel like. Mutual, chosen, unburdened by obligation or resentment. I've started volunteering at the community center 3 mornings a week, helping seniors with technology classes. Teaching someone how to video call their grandchildren or navigate online banking feels useful in a way that's clean, reciprocal. They thank me. I thank them for letting me help. No one takes without acknowledgement. I've also booked a trip to Charleston for December, a city I've always wanted to visit. A small bed and breakfast near the historic district, walking tours, gardens, museums. Just me, moving at my own pace, accountable to no one. The call comes on a gray November afternoon. David's number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Mom. His voice is different, smaller, tired. Hello, David. Can we talk? We're talking now. A long pause. I mean really talk. I've been thinking a lot about everything that happened. And we were wrong. The way we treated you, the party, the money, all of it. We were wrong. I sit down slowly on the couch. I'm listening. We're in trouble. The refinance didn't go through. We owe more than we realized on credit cards. The car finally died. Jessica's hours got cut at work. And I don't know what to do. That sounds very difficult. We need help. There it is. Not I'm sorry you were hurt. Not I understand now what I put you through. Just we need help. The same refrain that's echoed through 15 years. I know you do, I say quietly. So can you maybe, I don't know, help us figure this out? David, I'm not the person to provide that help anymore. What does that mean? It means you're adults, you have jobs, education, resources, you can talk to a financial counselor, consolidate debt, make a budget. There are solutions that don't involve me writing checks. But we're family. We are. And as your family, I love you. But love doesn't mean rescuing you from consequences you created. His voice hardened slightly. So that's it. We're just on our own. You've been on your own. You just didn't realize it because I was quietly covering the gaps. Now the gaps are visible. What you do with that is your choice. I can't believe you're doing this. I'm not doing anything to you, David. I'm just no longer doing things for you. There's a difference. Silence stretches between us. I can hear him breathing, searching for the right words, the magic combination that will unlock my wallet again. I'm sorry, he finally says, for how we treated you, for the party, for taking you for granted. I'm sorry. The apology lands, but it's hollow, motivated by need, not genuine remorse. I appreciate that, and I hope you mean it. But even if you do, it doesn't change where we are now. Which is where? I'm 64 years old, David. I've spent the last 2 decades putting everyone else first. My health, my retirement, my life, all of it took a back seat to making sure you were okay. And it cost me, not just money. It cost me the ability to see myself as anything other than useful. Mom, I never asked you to. You didn't have to ask. I offered, and you accepted, over and over, without question, without gratitude, until it became an expectation. That's on both of us, but it ends now. So you're just cutting me off forever? Your only son? I'm not cutting you off. I'm setting a boundary. You're welcome in my life, but not in my wallet. If you can accept that, we can rebuild something real. If you can't, then I guess we're at an impasse. He's quiet for a long time. When he speaks again, his voice is raw. I don't know how to fix this. Start by fixing your own situation without looking to me for rescue. Prove to yourself and to me that you can stand on your own. Maybe then we can talk about what comes next. And if I can't, then you'll figure it out. People do. I don't hang up in anger. I don't slam the phone down or deliver a final cutting remark. I just say, gently, David, I loved you enough to sacrifice everything. I'm finally loving myself enough to stop. I hope one day you understand that. The line goes quiet, then disconnects. I set the phone aside and look around my living room. The house is smaller without the weight of constant obligation, but it's lighter too, breathable. Saturday morning, I'm at a cafe 2 blocks from my house, the kind with mismatched chairs and local art on the walls. I'm reading a novel I picked up at the library, something about a woman who sails around the world alone. The protagonist is fearless in ways I'm only beginning to understand. Sunlight streams through the window, warming my face. My coffee is perfect, the pastry flaky and sweet. I have nowhere to be, no crisis to solve, no one waiting for me to fix something I didn't break. My phone buzzes. A text from Emma. Love you, Grandma. Coffee this weekend. I smile, the kind that reaches all the way to the center of my chest. I'd love that. I set the phone down and return to my book. Around me, the cafe hums with quiet Saturday energy. Conversations, laughter, the hiss of the espresso machine. I am alone at this table, but I am not lonely. I am unburdened. I am free.